Whatever you do, if you win, you're a genius. If you lose, you're a goofball.
If you do neither one, you end up on the Red and Blue Review. Gupper and the gang here at Bungalow Joe's getting ready to talk about basketball. Things were a little bit better for Kentucky, a lot worse for Louisville, and what I contend, guys, is the worst year ever for college basketball. Did you guys see the Northern Illinois score?
Yes, I did.
They scored 4 points in the first half. This is an NCAA Division I team.
Yeah.
4 points in the first half. It's not a fluke. Earlier in the year, they scored 5 points and a half.
Oh,
that's what I'm saying.
brutal.
Louisville fans, I know you're depressed by losing 3 straight. Basketball is so bad, you still can win it all.
This is my take on Louisville. Come on, Louisville. Syracuse, Villanova, Georgetown.
Body bags.
Loser. Come on.
Howie Lindsay with CardinalSports.com.
It has been a rough week. It has been a rough week. Unfortunately, Louisville doesn't have some cupcakes like LSU to feast on, but there will be some cupcakes in the Big East. There will be some wins. Eventually, Louisville will win a game again.
Well, we're coming to you from Bungalow Joe's, just off the Gene Snyder and Beulah Church Road. Bungalow Joe's, great food, great atmosphere, and a great offer. Listen to this. If you log on to bungalow-joes.com right now, click on VIP, Joe is going to mail you a $10 gift certificate, and that's good for these delicious items that we have on the table, including other things on the menu. We'll introduce these really delicious, Howie, hands off.
Look at that.
We'll introduce you to these delicious items coming up in just a bit, but go to bungalowjoes.com. Okay, some of the topics we're going to hit from Bungalow Joe's today. Alex Poythress, delusional, a 68-point game, and NCAA chances right now in the lightning round. The lightning round on the Red and Blue Review is brought to you by the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety, reminding you that you have to click it or ticket. Finally, the big man on campus for the University of Kentucky is Alex Poythress. Fans have been waiting all year for the breakout game. We think it's a breakout game against LSU. 20 points, 12 rebounds for the BMOC.
I was so proud of Alex. I can't begin to tell you. He is basically, in his mind, been tortured to play harder, to compete. In other words, it's like torture what we're doing to him, just making him run, you know, making him do individuals, pushing him. And for him to go out and make those free throws and come up with those balls and do the things he did to help us win the game. He did good. I'm telling you, without him, we don't win. 20 and 12 out of a freshman. All these kids are different. They're not machines. They've all been brought up different. They've all been coached different. They're all different. And our job is to help each of them reach their potential. And
You should have learned in what going on in 4 years now not to doubt Calipari, not to panic, because he does such a good job of developing young players that it just takes a while. And you could see with Alex, his body language and just his whole temper, the way he carries himself, it was going to take a little longer with him. And I do wonder if Cal would ever admit if he was starting to think, am I pushing too hard? Am I pushing the right buttons? Because nothing was working with this guy. And I got a feeling we're seeing a little bit of dominoes. Kyle Wilcher was embarrassed publicly by his coach and has picked it up. And right after that, Kyle's been really pushing Alex to come and play better, get more fired up. He's come along, so maybe things are starting to come together.
Now, I know you were in the arena for the game. My perception of it watching at home was that was a pretty quiet 20 and 12. It feels like he could do even more than that.
He could. He went the first 9 minutes of the second half without really scoring, without touching the ball, so he could have done a lot more. But the funny thing with him, you go back and you say, oh, this is a breakout game. And you go back and look at his stats. He scored 24 the first 5 games.
Yeah.
And his numbers for the year are pretty decent for a freshman. So it's not like he's been miserable. It's just I think everybody figures out that if he really gets after it, wow, look out. He could be top 5 lottery pick, something like that, if he really turns it on.
The big man on campus for the University of Louisville isn't on campus yet, though he should be. That's Terry Rozier. He scored 68 points at a high school basketball game here in Louisville, playing for Virginia
Hargrave.
Military. I don't have a Virginia Military Academy yet. Hargrave Military Academy.
How big the basket look second half?
Like an ocean. Like an ocean. It just felt good. Like I said, thank my teammates. They believed in me, and I got the job done.
How does it feel to score 68 points?
I never did in my life. It feels real good, especially in front of my future fans, so real good.
Yeah, I'm glad somebody asked that question because nobody in that crowd ever scored 68 points in a game, that's for sure. And there were a lot of old-timey basketball players there just to see the show. They wanted to see Anton Gill and Terry Rozier. Anton Gill scored 56 points earlier this year, and Terry Rozier was just fantastic. He hit 22 of 24 free throws. He hit 8 three-pointers. He hit, I think, 19 shots. And earlier in the day, Louisville scored 51 points as a team.
Yeah.
Terry Rozier scored 68 points in one game, and there were two 20-minute halves, and his team, granted, they scored 139 points, but still, you score 68 points anytime, that's amazing.
Did anyone break the news to Terry Rozier, you're going to have to play defense at Louisville?
What was funny about it was, right after the game, Hargrave alum Montrezl Harrell comes back, and he goes, hey, just to let you know, you're passing the ball next year.
Well, who got busted at the University of Kentucky despite the win against LSU? Or any of the players who think they're playing as hard as they possibly can, those guys are delusional.
If you're delusional, you're not going to change. Delusional guys don't change. They just think that I'm good, my stuff is right, that's somebody else. If you're delusional, you don't change. We just have to have guys go out and accept where they are right now, where we are as a team, where they are as an individual player, what the team needs from them. The success you have is peace of mind, and the John Woodenism, knowing in your heart of hearts you've done everything you could, you've worked as hard as you could for yourself and your team. You have peace of mind. You don't have to worry about it. But if you're the last one in that gym, if you know you're not giving everything, you're never going to have peace of mind even if we win.
The question is, he could have made this comment a month ago and everybody on the roster would be, he's talking about me. Now, Kyle Wilcher's playing really well.
Yeah.
Alex Porter Saturday played really well. That narrows the old field down about who might be delusional, who needs to kind of pick it up. Archie Goodwin, for one. Ryan Harrell, more consistent. Nerlens Noel, he has no complaints on Nerlens whatsoever, nor could he. So that list of delusional is shrinking, which is good news. It's good news for UK. Get more people out of the mindset that I'm good, I came here good, I'm already good enough, and start playing more of a team game. These guys can figure it out and get on a roll.
We're battling delusion right now because we're not getting a chance to eat this food just yet. We're coming to you from Bungalow Joe's, home of not only this great food, but a great offer. Go to bungalows-joes.com and join their VIP group, and Joe is going to send you a $10 gift certificate. All right, guys, you guys are the food model. Howie, those are stinky chips that you're sticking your fingers into.
Yeah.
The salmon glazed, bourbon glaze, salmon with bourbon glaze and a side of green beans.
That's for you guys.
And then the Thai cob with smoky tomato dressing salad.
This one has bacon on it. That was mine.
Meat candy, as we like to call it.
Absolutely.
Please go to bungalowjoes.com so you can pick up your $10 gift certificate from Bungalow Joe's. Well, who got busted for Louisville is Rick Pitino. Paul Majors, who was one of the attendees here watching the Louisville game here at Bungalow Joe's, he had to question Rick Pitino's end-of-the-game strategy.
I don't understand why Pitino had Peyton Siva take the last shot instead of Russ Smith or Hancock. Peyton Siva hadn't even scored a point in the whole damn game, foul trouble and all that. I thought Russ Smith or Hancock should have took that last second shot.
How do you really feel, Paul? No, I tell you, that is the sentiment of everyone I've talked to since that game. What in the world were they thinking? Peyton Siva was clearly off. He was having a bad game. He'd had too many fouls. He'd only taken one shot earlier in the game, and he didn't hit that. After the game, Rick Pitino was asked that. He said he believed that Peyton Siva was the freshest on the team. Well, certainly he was. And that he's one of their better shooters, which actually he is. He is one of their better shooters. You still got to think, all right, what are you doing at that point? You got to give it to Russ Smith. You got to try something different than that 17-foot, 15-foot jump shot. I think, had it gone down, we would have all been saying, wow, what a shot, that kind of thing. But, when you lose like that, you deserve to be questioned.
Well, it was a one-point game at that point. It seems to me, like you, that if you give it to Russ Smith, the worst he's going to do is get fouled.
Sure.
And he's got one or two chances to put it into overtime. To me, you were gambling everything on a three that was contested at best.
Well, and I think the other big thing is, and this is the point that most people have trouble with, is Louisville held the ball. I mean, for 29 seconds, they held the ball down by one. I think most people would have thought you just go ahead and make a play, and then if you don't make it, you've got another shot to foul them and get it back and all that kind of thing. If you're down by 1, I'm not sure if you hold the ball. Now, maybe being on the road is different, but I think that play is going to be questioned all season long.
And freshest may be the lamest answer I've ever heard. Are you kidding me?
I am the freshest person because I haven't had a shot in 10 years.
When I hear that, I'm thinking, how many game winners did Kemba Walker hit for UConn when they had 5 games in 5 days?
Right,
and he just kept carrying that team?
Yeah.
Weird.
What's Nuts on Planet Blue is going to be your bracket for the NCAA tournament, because if they make the field, anybody in the field, honestly, has got a chance to win it this year.
You know what? Let's just get right. We got to get this thing right. I'm not worried about another team. I don't care who wins or loses. If I get this team right, we'll be fine. We're not right now. You saw. I mean, we're still not. You got to get out of your own self's way. You got to get out of your own self's way so you can bust through. In basketball or any sport, it's not play to play. You got to have amnesia. You miss a shot, amnesia, forget it. You turn it over, amnesia. You can't let it affect the next 3 plays. That's what we're doing, folks. And we talk about it, we address it, we show them, I got it. Next missed layup, what? Head down and jog back. But that's who we are. We're this young team, and I wish they were moving faster, but I'm so ecstatic for Alex. I'm ecstatic how Nerlens is continuing to grow as a player. Now we got to get some other guys to catch up.
That question wasn't the answer I wanted, but that's still a good answer, because I posed it as saying, does this look like one of those years where so many teams move to the top that anybody who gets in and if they catch fire at the right time could really do a lot of damage? The answer, of course, is yes. His answer is actually better to say, I'm not worried about it. Let's worry about fixing us. And by the way, if you do fix your team, you will be that team that comes into the tournament regardless of seed on a roll, and see what kind of damage you can do. I still think this team is going to get in. I've heard a lot of discussion about are they even going to get in. That seems really weird because you can easily map out 21 victories. But we'll see how that goes. But I want them sent west. It's a down year, and the West is always down. So get in, go west, and see what happens. And let Indiana and Louisville and all these guys over here on this side of Mississippi beat each other up. Go out west and take your chance with Arizona.
Well, it's been a crazy year to be number 1. Louisville ranks number 1 just a few weeks ago. Now they've lost 3 straight. Duke gets ranked number 1. They get run out by Miami by 27 points. Everybody wants to be number 1 in April, but maybe nobody wants to be number 1 in January.
Well, I'm sure you're watching the wacky world of college basketball each night, and you see some really strange things. And it's a surprise and it's not a surprise. Our league has become very difficult not only to figure out certain styles because they're so different, but for the players it becomes a real big challenge. Because one night they'll go against a finesse team, a zone team, the next night they'll go against a smash-mouth semi-football team. And the variations make it interesting in the Big East, but also very challenging for the players to understand. And
yeah, it's extremely challenging for the players to understand, especially in the Big East where everybody's got talent. I think outside of DePaul, I mean, there are a couple teams in the Big East that are just not going to beat you. But the other 13, I think 14 out of 15 teams are in the RPI Top 100. So any of those teams can beat you, as Louisville's proving. Villanova had probably the best week for an unranked team I've ever heard of. Beat the number 1 team and then beat the number 3 team. I mean, Villanova was probably before this week was not in the tournament. And, you know, now they're certainly in the tournament. They're probably a 7 seed.
When we come back on the Red and Blue Review, we're all trying to avoid getting sick. Cal hopes his team does get sick. We'll explain that when we come back as we head to the break. Daryl's going to tell us about the Cat's Paws.
I do appreciate it very much. New issue coming out. The appropriate headline, of course, Howie. Alex the Great. He finally showed up, and the fans are happy. We got a great story about him and his comments, Coach Calipari's comments as well. And we'll have more Express issues this week coming up with, wow, what a road trip. At Ole Miss, at Texas A&M this week. You can read all about it. Go online to magazine.catspaws.com.
How do you say it?
Bear nose.
Bear nose?
Beer nose.
Bear nose? No matter how you say it, Bear Nose has been serving up Louisville-style pizza since 1977 from 13 area locations.
Bear nose. Bear nose.
Did you know that 2/3 of all truck-related crashes are actually caused by cars? Large trucks carry heavy loads and need more room to stop than cars. Merging without leaving enough space between you and a truck could cost you a ticket. or something much worse, your life. Law enforcement will be out on the road writing tickets to make sure both truck and car drivers stay safe. Before merging, be sure you can see both of the truck's headlights in your rear view mirror to ensure proper braking room. This message brought to you by the KSP Commercial Vehicle Enforcement Division.
Join the club at Sam Swope Auto Group. When you service a vehicle at any Sam Swope dealership, you automatically become a Service VIP Rewards member. You get member pricing on parts and service, lost key return, and emergency roadside assistance. Plus, you can earn points that qualify you for discounts on your next vehicle purchase, up to $2,500. The best part is becoming a member is free. Become a member today at any Sam Swope dealership. Nobody walks away because everybody saves.
Yeah, I just picked her up. We should be there in 20 minutes. Who is it? Oh, it's him. Where is he?
I know. Yeah, I know.
That just happened! Yes, it did. Yes, 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 yes! Yes! We did it! Yes, we did! Yeah, we did it! See you, bud. Later.
Honey, who was that?
Who, that guy? I don't know.
Get caught up in the excitement. Buffalo Wild Wings. More wings, more beer, more sports.
Hey, who's this?
It's been over 90 years since my grandfather entered the Chevrolet business. Steve and I are proud of our son Ryan and our son-in-law Andrew, who now make the 4th generation. The tradition continues with our dedication to excellence and customer satisfaction. Thank you, Kentuckiana, for making us your #1 Chevrolet dealer. We would like to introduce you to the all-new Bachman Chevrolet.
How do you say it?
Bearnose.
Bearnose?
Bearnose.
Bearnose? No matter how you say it, Bearnose has been serving up Louisville-style pizza since 1977 from 13 area locations.
Bearnose.
Bearnose.
Hi, I'm Joe Bishop, owner of Bungalow Joe's Bar and Grill. We're the bar and grill that doesn't serve bar foods. Back to you, Gary.
Thank you, Joe. And boy, we're seeing evidence of that. This is certainly not
Absolutely.
bar food, and bar none. We're going to be digging into this in just a bit. But first, we got some work to do. Our topics right now: sick of losing, and just like last year, our game time storylines. Our thanks to the Kentucky State Police for being one of the sponsors of the Red and Blue Review. They want to remind you that they are ticketing aggressive driving with cars and trucks. All right, topic number 1. Before the Cats can really get well, they first have to be convinced that they are sick of losing.
Just get sick of where you are as a player, too.
Can you sense that?
I don't know. We'll see. We will see. You know, I said one of the best things for all of us is when you realize that you can change your attitude and you can change your habits. You can. Now, you may not choose to because it's hard and it's uncomfortable. It maybe embarrasses you that what you were doing was wrong, so you got to change. But when you do change your habits and you do change your attitude, your life changes. Ask Josh Harrelson. Ask DeAndre Liggins. Your life changes. If you choose not to change, and then you're looking either for self-pity or blame.
I have to wonder when the situation John Calipari has volunteered to take over of coaching freshmen year after year after year, starting from scratch, if that isn't the biggest challenge, is to break through these knotheads that have been coddled their entire lives, and they do have enough talent to come to a place like Kentucky or Louisville. You have to break down and say, no, you're not good enough. You have got to change how you've played this because it just doesn't work at this level. It won't work at the next level. You have to reinvent yourself once you get here. I got a feeling that is probably the most difficult challenge every single year.
Well, Louisville's going to tumble right out of the rankings if they don't get their act together after losing three straight ball games. And Rick says, when you think about it, this year's team is similar now to last year's team.
The thing about the defense, in order for us to win, and win like we did last year in the tournament, our defense has got to be one of the best in the country. It can't be one of the best in the Big East. It has to be the best in the country, because we have some offensive deficiencies. And, we're not a whole lot different than last year in terms of our deficiencies.
Yeah, I think this team is very similar. I mean, I think they recruited shooters, and then Terry Rozier went to Hargrave Military Academy. So they still don't have necessarily the great outside shooters. I think Russ Smith is adequate. I think Peyton Siva can be adequate. I think Wayne Blackshear is adequate. But they don't have a great shooter. And I think that's been proven over the last 3 games, is they don't have somebody who is on every game. Wayne Blackshear was a very good shooter 2 games ago. This last game, I think he was 1 for 9. Peyton Siva had a 1 for 9 game. Russ Smith has had his off games as well. So I think they need somebody who's consistently on from outside. Otherwise, they've got to win with defense, which is exactly the way that last year's team got to the Final Four.
Red and Blue has added a couple of starters to our lineup here at Bungalow Joe's. Let me show you the newest addition to our plate full of entrees here. We've got the fish plate, fish dinner,
absolutely.
And we've got a flat iron steak to go along with the stinky chips, the Thai Cobb salad, and the salmon.
Looking good.
And as a public service, Daryl, I'm going to let Howie tell us about CardinalSports.com while I knock off some stinky chips.
I like it. I like it. CardinalSports.com is your best source after games. Check us out. We go into the locker room. We talk to all the different players.
Go ahead, Howie. We're good.
What are they saying after the game? Check it out at CardinalSports.com.
Oh.
How do you say it?
Bear nose.
Bear nose?
Beer nose.
Bernos? No matter how you say it, Bear Nose has been serving up Louisville-style pizza since 1977 from 13 area locations.
Bear nose. Bear nose.
Did you know that 2/3 of all truck-related crashes are actually caused by cars? Large trucks carry heavy loads and need more room to stop than cars. Merging without leaving enough space between you and a truck could cost you a ticket, or something much worse, your life. Law enforcement will be out on the road writing tickets to make sure both truck and car drivers stay safe. Before merging, be sure you can see both of the truck's headlights in your rear view mirror to ensure proper braking room. This message brought to you by the KSP Commercial Vehicle Enforcement Division.
Join the club at Sam Swope Auto Group. When you service a vehicle at any Sam Swope dealership, you automatically become a Service VIP Rewards member. You get member pricing on parts and service, lost key return, and emergency roadside assistance. Plus, you can earn points that qualify you for discounts on your next vehicle purchase, up to $2,500. The best part is becoming a member is free. Become a member today at any Sam Swope dealership. Nobody walks away because everybody saves.
Yeah, I just picked her up. We should be there in 20 minutes. Who is it? Oh, it's him. Where is he?
I know. Yeah, I know.
Yeah! That just happened! Yes, it did. Yes, 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 yes! Yes! We did it! Yes, we did! Yeah, we did it! See you, bud.
Later.
Honey, who was that?
Who, that guy? I don't know.
Get caught up in the excitement. Buffalo Wild Wings. More wings, more beer, more sports.
Hey, who's this?
It's been over 90 years since my grandfather entered the Chevrolet business. Steve and I are proud of our son Ryan and our son-in-law Andrew, who now make the 4th generation. The tradition continues with our dedication to excellence and customer satisfaction. Thank you, Kentuckiana, for making us your #1 Chevrolet dealer. We would like to introduce you to the all-new Bachman Chevrolet.
How do you say it?
Bear nose.
Bear Nose?
Beer nose.
Bernos? No matter how you say it, Bear Nose has been serving up Louisville-style pizza since 1977 from 13 area locations.
Bear nose. Bear nose.
Hi, I'm Joe Bishop, owner of Bungalow Joe's Bar and Grill, the bar and grill for the whole family. Back to you, Gary.
Thank you, Joe. Did you guys see the size of that TV screen? Takes
Nice.
up the entire back wall, just like the food here takes up our entire table. Now we've added to it the cheeseburger.
Yes,
the big
absolutely.
cheeseburger is here, hickory burger, and then Howie, what do you have there?
I have a bucket of ribs that look so good I want a straw and just stick it in there. This will be my take-home pack, huh? You like this?
All it needs is a little umbrella.
Yeah, that's good.
Howie's got a
My
rib
kind of
daiquiri.
cocktail.
A rib daiquiri. Well, as we've been bringing in and out of food, Mark Stoops, the University of Kentucky, is trying to change the culture at the University of Kentucky football program. He's doing that by bringing in coaches from winning programs.
Those are the guys I want that believe in what we're doing, that believe in the system, and that believe that they can help change the culture here and change the players that we already have in the winners and to recruit players to help us win championships. So those are the type of players that are the type of coaches that we have on the staff now.
Now, the real recruiting junkies will know how good of a job he's doing. The casual fan, casual UK fan, has no clue. He is recruiting and getting commitments from people he has no business getting recruitments and getting commitments from these guys. He is soaring up the list of top programs as far as signing classes. Now, the problem is you're in the SEC, so you're still going to be way down that list. But he is so high from where Joker's best year was. It's ridiculous what he's been able to do in such a short window.
Now, this next thing may surprise you. Rick Pitino says that in order for this team to make the Final Four, they've got to improve their pitching.
But it's like a baseball team that just has unbelievable pitching and average hitting. Great pitching wins. Well, great defense wins. And that's what we've got to be until we...
Louisville's got to be a great defensive team. They've got to block shots when they get into the paint. They've got to go after the ball carrier, the ball handlers out there in the front. And I think they can be that team. I think this team can actually be a better defensive team than last year's team that took them all the way to the Final Four. And last year's team was unbelievable on defense.
All right, we're going to wrap it up by reminding you one more time that you can get a $10 gift certificate for this food. Simplest thing you've ever done. Go to bungalow-joes.com. You go to the part of their website that it says VIP. Click on that. You'll put in a little bit of information, and Bungalow Joe's will email you a $10 gift certificate for this food.
Wow.
Howie, Daryl, you got to try Stinky Chip. We'll see you next time on Red and Blue.